Ha ha ha. Yeah, here it is. Um, so I was gonna use my computer, which I've never used my computer to do any of these live video. Well, I've only done like one other live video, and that was literally just me just goofing off. Um, my wife is printing something out, so she will be with us shortly. So, I honestly don't even know if anyone is in here. Plus, I kind of screwed it all up by creating a live video and then not actually using the one that I created because I couldn't figure out how to start that one. So gonna have to play around with that some other time. Um, let's see if anyone is actually in here. I know that I had one person waiting. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of wait a little bit and see if anyone else shows up. Let's see. I'm getting my computer set up here to kind of follow this. Okay, here comes Angie, my wife, with the notes that I made. All right, you want to sit down next to me? Huh? Cool. All right. So, was this all of it? Yeah, I guess it is, huh? Cool. All right.
We met.
Yeah, we do. Um, I should have done landscape. So whatever this thing is like. Portrait, I think this is called portrait.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're almost in there.
Good morning. It's fine.
It's fine. Now you just see our heads. I can do this without dropping it a little bit. That's all right. There we go.
Good morning.
Okay. So, fun fact is I screwed all this up if you didn't hear me. So I actually have one set up right here, but I couldn't figure out how to use that one. So this is the one we're using. There we are. Is anyone talking? No one's talking yet. They're probably wondering what happened to the other one. I'm just going to erase the other one real fast here. Oh, our dog is wanting to say hi. You guys can't see him though. Oh, yeah, you guys can see him. Punky is down there at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to erase this one so other people could be like, yeah. See, this guy here will not leave us alone. He wants attention all the time. Can you help me figure out how to erase this one? Buddy, buddy, you're making this very difficult. Yeah, maybe just there's like a way just to delete it. Uh, so people will hopefully find the correct one. People can always go back and watch these later too, though. Maybe like a side click or something. Maybe it's like that thing there, maybe. Okay, don't mess up the computer, buddy. Okay, fine. Okay, you're gonna have to get down, dude. You're gonna have to. He's like literally clawing on it. Get down, get down. Okay, okay.
So this is in the queue.
I don't know. I guess we'll mess with it later. I guess. Hopefully, people will figure out that that's not the right one, and we're in the other one. Frustrating. Okay. Anyways, one watching. Okay, that's cool. So someone is. So yeah, if anyone's in there, can you just say hi in the chat? Okay, this is really annoying. All right. So let's just go ahead and introduce ourselves and tell a little bit about who we are. So my name's Justice. Um, so Junkbox Aquatics, that's kind of like my little hobby. Hobby is fish breeder. Um, but today we're going to talk about mental health and aquariums. So we live in the Pacific Northwest over next to Oregon. We're currently living in Washington right now, little town outside of a little bit Kelso, Washington. So I'm a professional therapist. Um, Yeah, so counselor, my master's degree is in mental health counseling. And you are?
Hi, my name is Angie. I am his lucky wife. I am a licensed clinical social worker in Oregon and in Washington. Um, we have our own private practice in addition to Justice's hobby of junk box aquatics. And then we also work for a agency due to Care Oregon's rules. If you're not
Ridiculous.
familiar,
Ridiculous
Oregon
rules.
Health
I
Plan,
can say that
Care
on
Oregon.
here because this is not a therapy place.
But like Justice mentioned, we really find value in finding things uh, that like hobbies or things to distract or things to um, I guess mindful activities
Go.
for um, therapy, and we really encourage our clients to find those things. And I can say from the outside, Justice, I think he shared. Have you shared your diagnosis?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Dyslexia,
And
attention deficit, hyperactivity.
yeah, so he has ADHD and dyslexia, and so I find from the outside, I don't have an ADHD brain, but being married to him for 10 years, I find that him just engrossing in himself with a hobby such as looking at fish tanks, I can see where he can calm himself down fairly well with that. So I think that's what kind of like what the topic of this is just
Yeah.
using
I mean,
those
actually,
things.
that's ironic, but yeah, kind of. Okay. So speaking of all of that, so I made a couple bullet points. So I did a little bit of this guy, I swear to God, he's gonna literally like knock something off the table. Go lay down. Go lay down. The moment you sit down, he goes nuts.
Go
Okay.
lay down. Go lay down. Sit.
All right. So do we have anybody watching yet? Is anyone on this thing? Yeah, no chats, anything. But it is kind of early, so I don't know. We might get what's that called when people show up? It says one person watching, but that might be us because I'm using the computer. Although, yeah, I don't know. All right. Here's one thing. I have a client at 10 o'clock. So this is not going to be a full hour long video. So I have a client at 10 o'clock. So yeah, so there's that. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do is just kind of go over this is not a recommendation. This is not a you should go out and buy a saltwater tank because they're the coolest thing and it's going to help you and blah blah blah. Because one thing is like you want to stick in your stick with your limitations, right? So if you live in an apartment 2 stories up and you don't have an elevator, you obviously don't want to get a really big tank that you're going to have to do a whole lot of maintenance for. And also like some people, unlike me, because I'm a little obsessive about things, like Angie was saying with the attention deficit hyperactivity, there's a lot of deep diving in with people who have stuff like that. They never, there is so much stuff you can do with aquariums, so that is kind of a plus. However, like if you have a grandmother and you want to get her a tank, you want to just be kind of careful, like what are you going to get her and make sure it's something that she can maintain, because like I said, like the saltwater tank, for instance, if you're not around to help her out with that, or you yourself, you want to be realistic about what you're doing. So little disclaimer on that. If you live in an apartment, don't get a Great Dane, that kind of thing. um
And I would also say that like by we're not telling you what you should and shouldn't do because
exactly.
we don't have the right to do that. I think what he's getting at is just literally just the ideas that we're going to present. It may or may not be. As you can see, we also have a dog, so
Yes.
maybe a dog is more
Because
suitable, or a bird, or it's just various
dog may be
animals.
more suitable unless you have a dog like this guy and you are never home, because this guy requires a lot of attention, as you guys can see, because we do work from home mostly, and he's jumping all over the place. Kind of the darker side of this kind of stuff is like some of these pets don't live as long as you would think. Like a lot of people know that dogs live like what? A really old dog is like 18 years.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. And like when it comes to aquariums, like fish, okay, saltwater fish, yeah, I think like a clownfish, Nemo, I think they live to like 30 to 40 years. But that's not the same as freshwater. So some fish, like for instance, I like a lot of keely fish. They only live a couple years, like 2 to 3 years at the most. A really old keely fish could be 3 years. So so that's something to kind of keep in mind too.
Yeah, so thinking your animals and how long they'll last. So
Yeah.
they may bring you joy for the moment, but the fact of the matter is there could be grief at some point.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's something also to just to kind of keep in mind. All right. What else do I made a couple bullet points. Okay. I didn't get down the sites on this, but I will go in and I'll put where I got this information from because they're really, really good articles.
So it looks like
Um,
one of them, if you all are studying to take an exam, such as my husband is studying to take his exam,
yeah, my
or
national counseling exam.
mhm. There was a study that showed that interacting with a fish or a dog did relieve some of that stress before taking that exam.
Yeah.
And there are various things, again, that help us to relieve some of that stress and that, that
So in
good.
that particular study, I don't know how they actually did this because they didn't have all the research written out in the article, but it said that they had students um like in a room with a fish tank and then other students in a room with a dog and other with a plant, as funny as it is. Yeah, and then they reported how they felt, how it affected their anxiety.
It looks
So
like there's also some studies that have
physical.
shown, yeah, that keeping pets has helped with physical health, lowered blood sugar, reduced loneliness, improved mental health, and helped to avoid mental health crises. So
Yeah.
again, it's that loneliness piece that we're human
Mhm.
beings. We need to have things. Yes, there's extroverts and introverts, and so we that can look a little bit differently, but for the most part, we're not a single species that can just.
Yeah. One thing that comes to mind, I don't know about you, but I actually have some clients that their entire routine is around, like one of my clients, his entire routine is around the ponds he has in his backyard. Like gets up in the morning, has a cup of tea, goes look at the pond, sits there for a little bit, takes his dog for a walk, and then he does that again
Yeah,
all day long. Like
yeah.
that's what he does all day long.
Well, I see you have something right here with the nursing home, and
Mm-hmm.
so my undergrad is in gerontology, and one of the things that I learned in my studies, I don't have an exact article to tag or
This was
to
it.
cite
Good.
with that, but if said an individual has to go to the hospital because their health has declined,
Mm-hmm.
they are more motivated to get back to home or
Or
to back home or to like a nursing home if there is a pet, and they see a lot of elderly like have a cat or a bird, something a little bit smaller to be able to take
yeah,
care of. But they do say, again, as a gerontology student, they do say that many of them, it gives them purpose or motivation to get
yeah.
back, so they can care for it. So
Yeah, so like in the one study here, let's see, is this the one about the elder care facility? Oh yeah, up there. That's what I thought. Yeah, so like there's a actual assessment called where's it at?
nursing home
Yeah,
productive behavioral scale.
which is such that's such a horrible name for a scale.
Yeah.
Behavioral scale. How bad are these people acting? I mean, that is one of those things we run into in the industry a lot, unfortunately, is these different terms that we throw residents. It's kind of messed up. But anyways, yeah, in that assessment, they found putting a fish tank in the nursing home has improved not just not just the well-being of the people living there, but also it also said that the staff, the job improvement, they reported feeling a lot better.
Satisfaction.
Yeah, job satisfaction has improved.
Mm.
And then the other one was like basically just saying like a lot of different facilities and other organizations using animals to to help with like physical health, like we were just talking about,
Yeah,
behavioral
yeah,
health and
I worked in
psychological health that
yeah,
improved using animals.
I worked at a skilled nursing community when I was doing my gerontology, and I think at first it was an internship. Um, we would have dogs and various animals. I think even the Oregon Zoo came in one time to show various animals, and that like we saw that day or the days that those folks would come in, just a difference in the people that were there. So it definitely
This guy.
is is something for sure.
Yeah, I really hope you guys can hear us because the usually the phone's a lot closer to me, but I'm sure it's fine. Okay, so BBC, British Broadcasting, I don't know. But this is also this is I thought this was a really interesting study that they did. So British Broadcasting Communications, what does the C stand for in British Broadcasting? I don't know, whatever. Um, so they reported on this study that was done. So they had an aquarium over there in Europe somewhere, and what they did was they had they had a handful of volunteers do a 4-week study. So this was not just like a 1 day thing. This was like over a 4 weeks, and they had people connect it, and they were monitoring, let's see, the blood pressure.
Heart rate, blood pressure,
Yeah, this one of my
and their changes in mood
yeah.
showed that
So
over a period of
over a
time,
period of
their anxiety and other characteristics did show improvement.
yeah, and what's really interesting about it, they started it out with just the large tank, and I don't know, several thousand
Sit,
gallons or
sit,
something. Go
sit,
back, bud. Go back.
sit,
So they had all of this.
sit, sit,
They had these
sit.
people. They had these people look, it started off with just the tank. So you have just the tank, the decor, the lights, and even with that, just looking at that, it showed like people being a little bit happier seeing that. And then over time they started bringing in more and more fish. So like even the diversity, like they were just saying, like just having the different, I don't know, like the different fish and everything, and just more and more life that they can watch over that period of time. They were getting more and more happy, or whatever the phrasing and stuff. The words on the paper are a lot fancier than me just mumbling. But yeah, so that was a study that was done by some scientists and some doctors over in Europe, someplace. This dude's ridiculous. This is why we don't have him right in the room when we're doing therapy, because that's very awkward. I don't know. So yeah, so we're gonna do these. I'm gonna call these deep dives. What do you think? Deep dive? Yeah, so I'll play around with the camera.
Or swimming. Let's
Swimming. I
yeah.
think like other swimming. Keep on
Waiting.
that's
We're gonna be wading into the mental health realm.
well, I like deep dives because it's like you're getting into
Well,
something.
that
You're
too.
getting into something, then you're
But we also want to say that, like, even though we do have the therapy expertise, we're not experts
yeah, this is
in
not
saying, yeah,
this
in
is
saying
not like
like,
a place
yeah,
where we're not offering any clinical advice.
correct.
We are not offering, if you are trying to get clinical advice, you need to find a therapist in your own area,
Yeah.
because that is definitely something that we are not allowed to do, because yeah, you guys are not our therapist clients, and
Yeah.
that's super illegal and unethical.
Yeah.
So That's not what we're doing. We're just kind of hanging out and blabbing about stuff.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
Just giving
This
ideas.
is a fun thing. This is
Yeah.
not a clinical thing where
It's like we all hear the term self-care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's overrated. I think the self-care that a lot of times we struggle with doing self-care because
it's like
we're
self-care is overrated.
yeah,
What are you saying?
yeah. Like meaning like it is it's uh a lot of people struggle with it because if we say that we're taking care of ourselves, then sometimes we think, oh well, then we can't take care of another person. But a colleague of mine a few years ago really talked about it and helped me understand it in more like a self-investing, kind of like a bank. You got to put you said, said you got to put money in the bank in order to make money or have money, I guess that would be
Mhm.
the right way. um
Sure.
um and so with that, trying to find things to do while you're working, I think a lot of times, so like that's where like Justice does his
Take a
therapy
breaks.
um in his fish room. It's the background of his fish room. uh, and between clients he will doodle around with his fish, because they also do say with self-care or self-investing, dude, if you're thinking about it only after your day of work, then it can come off as like a chore, and nobody wants to take taking care of themselves look at as a look as a chore, because then it's like for instance, I love to swim, but if that was my only self-care, I wouldn't do self-care because I can't swim and work. So I I make sure I have my favorite drink, favorite colored pin,
Yeah.
throughout the day.
So some of you that have watched my videos, you guys have seen that I have two fish tanks at my office. So like Angie was saying, we have our home office right here. So Angie's office is that way. My office is right there.
Sit.
And at my office, at my actual office where I see clients in person, I've noticed, and clients have actually told me this, that a lot of times it's very relaxing for them to talk about what's going on and watch. I have a platinum angelfish in one of my tanks, and then I have shell dwellers, Maltese shell dwellers. Yeah, this dude suck. You suck. Dog's nuts. Go over there. Go over there. But yeah, so that's as you guys can imagine, shell dwellers. Those of you who know what shell dwellers are, the Maltese, those little guys swimming in and out of their shells and watching their babies and taking care of their babies. And then I also have the Julia chromis in the same tank. So even though it's Julia chromis are so much bigger than the shell dwellers, the Maltese chasing off the Julia chromis, the clients just get a kick out of watching the interactions with all the fish. So so yeah, it is. It's definitely a nice thing for people to for the clients to have that extra distraction in the therapy room, because a lot of times it's in the waiting room, but mine is like right there in the office. So alrighty. So this was kind of a weird one. I kind of screwed it all up, but I'm not surprised I screwed it up because this is one of my first ones. So yeah, we're getting a phone call in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here so you guys can't hear all that because I don't know what's going on. But mwah, take care and all that stuff. Talk to you guys later.